Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to the Toronto Raptors 118-114 loss to the Indiana Pacers, and this game was brutal. This game just sucked to watch as a Toronto Raptors fan. We're down most of the way, and looked like we might come back. There were moments in this one where it was exciting, where it seemed like the team be ready to roll, but this is a game that shouldn't have been exciting. This was a game, sure, we did not have Scotty Barnes in this game. We did not have Precious Achiuwa, and we did not have Gary Trent Jr. And we'll start talking about our depth. We will start talking about the issues with this team, the lack of shooting, all of that sort of stuff. Fred VanVleet chucking shots. We're going to get into all of that in this video. This is, by definition, a Raptors therapy session going on here today. So don't you guys worry. We're going to get into all of that. But this team, right, we have one of the toughest schedules in the NBA to finish out our season. Right now, as a team that's been very strong at home, right? We've been getting some wins as of late. I gotta shrink the seat, get everything rocking there. But we have our strong record at home. We've been playing well post All-Star break since we've acquired Jakob Poeltl. The Indiana Pacers, I mentioned all the injuries the Toronto Raptors had, were without Tyrese Haliburton tonight. Without Tyrese Haliburton, the Indiana Pacers, I know Nembhard was amazing, and shout out to Andrew Nembhard. I played nationals against him growing up, so he's a legit baller. He's a legit hooper. He's not some scrub that came in here and cooked our team, even though he's the second-round pick. But the Raptors, with that, all that said, right, without Tyrese Haliburton, the Indiana Pacers are not a good basketball team. They're not a team that's been getting wins. They're not a team that the Raptors should be, if we have playoff aspirations, if we think we can beat the Atlanta Hawks, beat a couple of these teams in the play-in tournament, right? We cannot be losing games like this, especially with how important they are, because our next 4 games are against lower-tier competition. And we close out the season. Sure, there's a couple games against the Charlotte Hornets, but we have a bunch of games against the Milwaukee Bucks. We have a bunch of games against the Boston Celtics, 2 of the top teams in the NBA. So this is not good. This is not boding well for how the Toronto Raptors. Now, I know we're injured and all that sort of stuff, and that brings me to my first point. And the Raptors just have zero depth. We have zero sort of guys that could sort of step in and be consistent, be consistently effective, and play their games. I know Malachi Flynn played well, and that's a positive, right? You look at Malachi Flynn's performance tonight at 8 points and played 18 minutes. Okay, his second stint was a lot better than his first stint, but, we don't have anyone that can really come in and step up. And regardless of what you want to say about Fred VanVleet, he hucked a lot of shots. He did not play well tonight. He's been solid throughout the season, ups and downs in terms of efficiency, but he's been all right. Pascal's been good this season, right? Scotty's been good this season. OG's been good this season, had a bad night tonight. Usually we can handle 1 or 2 of our top 6 guys struggling, because 3 to 4 of Poeltl, Gary, Fred, Siakam, Scotty, right, and OG, they'll be having good nights. And that's how it goes. But as currently constructed, when even one of those dudes is out of the lineup, we're expecting someone to step up, and we're hoping it's Precious Achiuwa. Precious Achiuwa was not in the lineup there tonight, but we don't have any depth. And the one guy, right, that we brought in to really be a spark plug off the bench, be a guy that can knock down some threes, get some buckets, maybe facilitate a little bit, be an athlete / go to the rim. He averaged 15 points for the Denver Nuggets last season, for goodness sake, right? He's a guy we had decent expectations for. Not the highest of expectations for, but decent expectations for. But Will Barton, I'm still hoping he turns it around. He's not a scrub by any means, but he's playing like it right now in his first few games with the Toronto Raptors. It has not been good, and it's been especially bad, against the Milwaukee Bucks the other night, and in a game in this one where without Gary, without Scotty, without Precious, right, we need some players to step up. Will Barton got the start. He was awful. Just awful in this game. And I'm a Will Barton fan, but 23 minutes, 2 of 8 shooting from the field, 4 points, and 2 of those came early. He had one nice pass, which should have been an assist. I'll give him credit on that one. Poeltl missed the layup. He got fouled, but it is what it is. But 0 of 5 from behind the 3-point line, and holy smokes, that is... Will Barton was just brutal in this game. Was just... Yeah, Adventure with Smiles is putting it perfectly. Barton, I'm assuming he means, has been one of the worst pickups ever. He's down -140 for the team. This is To make matters worse regarding Will Barton is likely the acquisition of him, bringing him in. And I'm not blaming the Toronto Raptors front office. You take the risk on a guy that's been a vet that averaged 15 points per game last season, was in a weird situation in Washington. I'm not blaming the front office for that. But the fact that he's probably the reason Jeff Doughton's not going to be in the rotation, not going to be able to play in any playing games or a lot of these games down the stretch because we can't convert Jeff Doughton's two-way contract to a full Toronto Raptors deal. That's just bad enough. That is just bad enough. As Tristan's putting it, that's effing gross, he's saying. And there's no other better way to put it. There's no better way to put it because Will Barton's really going to need to turn things around if the Raptors are going to, I don't know, unless we're trying to tank out the season, unless we're trying to tank next year. I don't know if there's any good players in the 2024 NBA draft, but whew, Will Barton has not been good. And not even myself have that type of authority to chuck threes willy-nilly, not even in high school. Center of stars saying, hey, I did have the green light, the authority to chuck those threes. I know how it feels, but I'd make a few more of them than Will Barton and Fred VanVleet in this game. And people know, right? I've been bashed in the comment sections. I take it, I eat it, I take it in the face when he plays bad. I throw it back at you folks when he plays well. But I've been supporting Fred VanVleet, and in the past, too, I've never been like that big of a Fred VanVleet guy. But this season, I think he's caught a lot of flack. And while he did have 28 points, while he did have 11 assists, I think his facilitating has been good. And his defense has been better as of late. But tonight was not a good game for Fred VanVleet. There's no other ways to put it, right? In this game for Frederico, right? I read out his stats, but 7 of 22 from the field, 3 of 12 from the three-point line, and 5 turnovers. And firstly, right, before we get into any of the box score numbers and the chuck and shots, Nembhard's legit. Andrew Nembhard is a legit basketball player. He's clutch. He's had some big moments this season when, Halliburton's been out. Nembhard can come in and really be effective. Local, Canadian from Aurora, right? You love to see that. And him, 3 Canadians starting for the Indiana Pacers, right? Nembhard had 25 points. He was cooking both Malachi Flynn and Fred VanVleet in this game. He was absolutely just smoking them. Blowing past them, even if he wasn't finishing the lane, he was just getting paint touches. And Fred's defense has been better post All-Star break, just from the eye test from what I've seen. Tonight, he regressed back into the Fred VanVleet style of defense we were getting throughout the early part of the season. So the defense was absolutely brutal there from Fred VanVleet. But we already looked at the stats in terms of efficiency and how he's having a bad night. And if you're having a bad night, sure, that's its own thing. But if you're out here you're kind of falling over and there's still 10 seconds, 15 seconds left on the shot clock, and then you're hoisting up a contested 3 while you fumbled your dribble, right? The Raptors are just going on a run. Momentum's picking up. Siakam's hitting shots. Pirtle's scoring in the lane. And then you come up and you can take a contested dribble pull-up 3 with 2 guys on you while you're not having that great of a night. That's a bad look. It's a bad look for this Toronto Raptors team. It's a momentum-killing play. It's something that just really hurts, right? The overall growth and development of this team. I don't know. It's brutal. Now, one thing I will say to keep on the Fred VanVleet, I'm seeing people, people bashing him a lot, but Fred VanVleet did have some nice drives in this one. If Fred VanVleet can consistently drive to the rim with the level he did, because he did have 28 points, and a lot of his buckets came for those attacks at the rim. But Fred VanVleet, I thought he had a lot of nice drives in this one. Just the ill-advised three-point shots, they're more detrimental than the box score sort of indicates, because they were kind of momentum-stopping shots, especially down the stretch. If they can't end up getting knocked down, it would have been great for this team, but it's tough. And Fred, not a PG, no way. That's what Rosebud is saying. I like Fred as the off ball, but Scotty Barnes, right? He's out, can't really play. Jeff Doughton's he's out with the wrist injury, but Jeff Doughton's not getting these two-way actions. And, I know Malachi had a solid game tonight, but I want to see Jeff get some more run. He didn't miss a shot in this one, 6 minutes. He just makes the right reads out there. I know he was, it wasn't until his last sort of stint there, his last shot, he took, a nice little contested pull-up. Yeah, obviously Jeff Doughton's got to be a little bit more aggressive, but I just love the way that man plays. He needs to be able to get out there on the court. I think that's a big rip for this team. So that's a rip. And as Tristan saying, I think Fred VanVleet is a better shooting guard as well. For sure. Definitely agree. And got some wild stuff happening in the chat there. But we also have to address OG Anunoby's performance in this one, who, tonight with Scotty Barnes out, more of a increased role for OG, right? Not getting as many open looks and open shots as he has been getting, but 7 points for OG, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, which was nice, especially early on, but 1 of 7 from the 3-point line, 2 of 13 from the field. Not a good performance from OG in this one. Missed a lot of open shots that really, 1 or 2 of those go down. The Raptors win this game. So that's unfortunate. Even more unfortunate for me. Made me say OG's screaming at this TV. OG's on my fantasy team right now for one of my leagues, Raptors Digest Fantasy League. I've absolutely taken a knock right now. I think I'm doing well in the the Consolation League, but OG's on my fantasy team for a couple leagues I'm in, and he's tanking the playoff games. That's what I'm saying there. So he's been great as of late, so I'm not going to bash on OG too much, but he did have a bad performance in this one, and defense didn't look as up to usual OG Anunoby standards. So not bad by any means, but not great either. And Gurman's saying hello. What's up, Gurman? Raps tonight. Gurman had 24 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. Looking like Nikola Jokic out there. 3 steals, 3 blocks. Everyone throw a W in the chat for Gurman, putting up a big night. But the refs did suck, and so many ticky-tack fouls on both sides, yeah. It wasn't the reason the Toronto Raptors lost, in my opinion, as it was both ends, sort of just weird calls getting hit. And the Raptors are in bonus for a huge chunk of the fourth quarter. So I'm surprised we lost, right? I thought this would just be a boring game where the Raptors would end up coming in. I didn't expect to be having to come out here and giving a therapy session out here tonight. A sad therapy session, but man, that was a tough look. It was a tough look. But I know the disappointments and stuff, the sad moments in this game, we've already talked about a bunch, but I do think Pascal Siakam really had a strong performance in this game. 31 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Not missed his 3-point shots, was 9-11 for the 3-point line and 11-17 from the field. Can't ask much more from our top dog and Pascal Siakam. And Jakob Poeltl, remarkable in this game. 23 points, 8 rebounds in this one, 2 steals, 2 blocks. That was all great to see. But the one big concern about Jakob Poeltl and his acquisition is obviously people are talking about the floor spacing and all that, right? In regards to shooting. That hasn't been a problem with Jakob Poeltl because he's such a great cutter. His handles going into the dunk. Like, obviously, Jakob Poeltl doesn't have a bag in the sense he's going to cross someone up around the 3-point line and throw crazy no-look pass out to the corner. But he's really effective at catching, 15 feet away from the basket and staying control, the dribbling through traffic, a straight line drive, using his size to get to the rim and get to a spot where it's really an easy layup for him to finish. So, he has a nice little bag in there. But, the free throw shooting is a big concern for the Raptors starting center. And he is so integral to what we're doing on the defensive end. We saw in the last 2-3 minutes of possession where he got fouled. It wasn't an intentional foul, it wasn't a hack of Simmons, but he missed both of his free throws to not seal the deal, but to bring the game back close. So that's tough. That's a tough look, but it is what it is. Nurse is horrible at developing players. I don't know. It's not been a good look. It's not been a good look. The doctors in here, we need a Raptor fan. Got the cover. What's up, Harrison? Saying the doctors and need help. Sad Raptor fan here. Need a therapy session. Masai, lead us to the promised land. Let's fix something. Let's get something rolling properly. But yes, Fred ball hogging, then the last second passing is horrible. Yeah, it's tough. Adventures with Smiles agreeing, but not a great look. But when was the last time Poeltl hit a 3? But I don't know when the last time Poeltl hit a 3, but had another OG's moment of the game today with Christian Coloco taking a pretty early, not a contested 3, so to speak, but a corner 3, letting it fly in this one. It was that was a pretty wild look. But also, I haven't given this out in a while, but Scotty Barnes award tonight. It's going to the Raptors' injured reserves for the attire they were wearing out there on the sidelines. Gary Trent Jr. had the black fur coat, rocking out, looking stylish and all that. Delano Banton had a nice nice Raptors sort of throwback jacket on. I thought, even though the Raptors precious looked nice, Scotty looked nice, even though those guys weren't playing, they were well dressed. So there's one win. If there's one win we can take away from this game, then there's that. But Tristan's OG's moment of the night was when Will Barton, oh yeah. Don't remind me, Tristan. Don't remind me, but man, Will Barton, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. And he wasn't hitting his shots, and he fired one straight off the side of the backboard. Fred also took a contested one late, fired that off the side of the backboard. Lots of OG's shots in this game. But DI from North is saying Chris Boucher stomps his feet like a 5-year-old instead of getting back to the floor. He doesn't get the call he wants. Sick of the tantrums. Definitely agree. Sick of the tantrums. But he was getting hacked. I do agree with your point, but I do think there was a warranted frustration from Chris Boucher tonight. But definitely has to get back on defense. Couldn't agree more. But here, Gurman's saying Hawks down 124-125. Keep me updated, Gurman. Keep me updated with those scoring. I want to. Hopefully, the Hawks lose this game so we don't. So we can gain that. We were still pushing for that 8th seed. You know, I know a lot of people are pushing for that tank, pushing for the Tampa tank. I'm not getting a 2023 tank going right now because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for us to lose games. I see Gio asking for one, but this is bringing back the old one. But we can't. We need to make a push. We've already committed. It's too late in the season to tank, right? We're switching our odds from like 8% to 10% or something. Not worth it. We need to try and win. But it's all about building chemistry. The team is often injured. That's a problem. Hey, a lot of teams are injured, right? The Pacers came out with a completely new starting lineup in this game. So can't blame that. But Jet saying, hey, Ben Masai's too in love with his players, trade them for better ones. Yeah, it depends on the offers, right? Because it didn't seem like the Raptors getting many offers. But we do have to do something. I do agree with that, Jet. I do agree with that. But we need creators and shooters. That's what this league is about. True. Especially now that we have Pirtle. Agree with that completely, Harrison. But Fred ball hogging last minute, not passing his teammates. Yeah, that's tough. Center of Stars saying is making a prediction. We bounce hard, the Bulls in the play-in. Bounce hard against the Bulls. Jeez, Louise. You think we're getting knocked out in the play-in? That would be the most depressing finish to a season. I want the Bucks. I want the Bucks. I have irrational confidence against the Bucks. We're undefeated against the Bucks in the playoffs, at least in my lifetime or years of watching the Raptors. So that's what we want to see. And hey, we can get the balloons rocking. We can celebrate something tonight, as Gurman's let me know. Unless it's the fake news, but I trust Gurman in my life, saying that the Hawks lose 124-125. So we have something to celebrate about on this Raptors therapy session. That's the one thing we could celebrate. But man, it's rough. It's a rough go for those Toronto Raptors fan right now. But appreciate all you guys. You know, the Raptors be driving you crazy, but kind of like a Queensway Automotive, except they drive you to the right places. So if you guys are looking for a car, definitely check out Queensway Automotive Group. Shout out to Queensway for supporting the podcast. Local Toronto car group. Lots of great guys there. But I thought of the driving me crazy. I had to get the pun out there for the little sponsorship. But my goodness, man. Whew! This is the Heat one. Yeah, we're not catching the 7th seed. I made a joke in our Discord. The Raptors Digest Discord. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen that. But I made the prediction of the Toronto Raptors getting a 3rd seed this season. Unlikely to get a 3rd seed this year. That's just unfortunately how it's going to go. But we might reach the 3rd seed in terms of play-in standings. We might get that 10th seed in the Eastern Conference. I didn't clarify. I didn't specify, what 3rd seed we're getting. I think we could definitely make a push for 3rd seed in the play-in. That's, I think, the Raptors' goals now at that point. But, folks, you guys are all the best to make this far. Can keep the live streams back rocking. But nice to have everyone in the chat. Definitely going to be having some fun here in the future. But, you guys are the best to make this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. 74 of you guys. If you've made it this far on a live stream and a depressing Raptors loss, the content only goes up from here. So definitely hit that sub button. But you guys are the best to make it this far. I'm signing out. Cheers.